Hey everyone, this is Felicia with The Book Is Done. I just finished a book. Not quite sure how I feel about it. It is called The Angel Maker by Alex North. I had heard different things about that book, and I don't know. To me, it just seemed like it would be a good book. I'm like, The Angel Maker. Ooh, let's see what it is. Mystery thriller, psychological thriller. And it's like, in a sense, I have, excuse me, here go the yarns. I have more questions than I do closure in finishing a book. It starts with this brother and sister, Katie and Chris Shaw, and Katie is 17, Chris is 15. Chris is 15, and Katie is in this relationship with this boy named Sam, and they're in high school. Chris, I believe, is either a freshman or he should be like a freshman in high school. And so while Katie is waiting for I'm so sorry. While Katie is waiting for Chris to come, Sam is just like, okay, well, I have an hour free at the house, if you would like to come by. And Katie is like, I shouldn't, and kind of like a guilt trip. And so she starts to see Chris walk towards her, and Sam was like, well, I'll talk to you later. I love you, bye. And she was like, wait. So long story short, Katie goes and hangs out with Sam at his house. And as she's walking home, she sees all of these police cars and all of this red tape and yellow tape. And the closer she gets to her house, she realizes that the yellow tape is like right by her house. There's this red car in front of her house, and she starts running. She goes past the police, and she's like, what happened? And so I just skipped to the second part. I'm sorry, the first part. There's this man, Alan Hobbs. It's a significance about October 4th, 2017. And that's the day that he dies. And he is this older man, and he mentions these names. He said, Katie Shaw and her family. Christopher Shaw, he has no idea who I am, but he will soon. And then Lawrence is one of the police detectives, and he said Lawrence will have never heard of my name until a few days from now. And that is at the end of October 4, 2017. So I'm just like, what? Then it goes into what I was just talking about with Katie and her brother Chris and Sam. So from there, come to find out, someone by the name of Michael Hyde just seemingly randomly attacks Chris and like slices his face, like stabs his face and stabs him multiple times, but he lives. And so it's just like, what? Where did this come from? Why did this happen? It's like 14 years later, 13, 14 years later. Excuse me. Katie is married to Sam, so legit high school sweethearts. They have a 3.5-year-old daughter, Sienna, and Chris turned out to be kind of like someone who went down the wrong path. So you would say, as they said in the book, someone who was addicted to drugs and, little petty crimes and things of that nature. He just never could seem to get it right in leading a stable life. I'm so sorry. This only happens when I review a book, and then when it's time to go to bed, it's almost 11 o'clock at night. So, Katie and Christopher's mom is still living, but the dad had passed on. So, and then it goes to say that Katie, the last time that Katie had seen Christopher was when Katie, Christopher, and the mom were together to celebrate what would have been their dad's birthday. I think like maybe 3 months or so after he passed. And so at that time, Christopher had stolen some money out of her purse and was gone. So she called the police on him. And that was the last time that she had seen him. And that was 2 years after the fact. So it's 2 separate accounts because Lawrence and Pettifer is his partner. They, it just seemed like they randomly came across as it pertains to, I forgot what it was. Oh, they came across the crime scene because Alan Hobbs had died. And so they said that Alan Hobbs was murdered. And so, you know, they're doing their own investigation and as to what's going on, what's building up. And they find Alan Hobbs. He was a rich man. He was in this old house, and part of the house had burned down like 30 years prior that he never got fixed. And so he just thought that it was odd. Like, this man is a millionaire. Why is he staying in this dilapidated house? And so they had their own separate investigation. And then mom for Katie and Chris calls Katie and was like, she was like, I need your help trying to find your brother. She was like, I haven't spoken to him in 2 years. Like, is something wrong? And so the story goes on, and I'm not gonna give you like the whole gist of the book. It finally came together in the end. And when I say I was getting ready to like DNF this book with literally like 15 pages left, I was like, can we just get to the end of it, because I'm over it. And so, you know, being that this is the first book that I've read of Alex North, from my understanding, he's written The Whisper Man and The Shadows, and it's all been good reviews from what I've heard from other people. But with this particular book, it was good, but at the same point in time, I'm not like rushing, tripping over my feet to get the next book. I am sure that his other books are amazing. Hopefully they are better than this one. I honestly feel like I would have to give this like 2 stars, 2.5 stars. Like I said, it wasn't bad. It just seemed like everything just kind of dragged and dragged and dragged. And so it's like, in the end, you know, I have questions, you know, did the brother, and it was Edward Leland, who was the brother of Alan Hobbs, and Edward was the older brother. It kind of reminded me of how, I don't know why it was in the Bible of Cain and Abel, and how I want to say Cain was jealous of Abel and killed Abel to get his birthright. And so it's something similar to that. Like, Edward worshiped their father, like the ground that they worked on. And Alan, the dad and Alan had, and even Edward, they, extremism or something like that. I forgot what it was, but they believed in, you know, this point of view where, you know, it's like, if God knows all things, past, present, and future, you know, why do we exist? And things are already ordained to happen the way that they happen, and things of that. It was just really interesting. So, you know, in all things, it was a good twisted book. It kept going back and forth between different dates to kind of give you background and foundation of, you know, what this person was experiencing, what Leland was experiencing, what Alan Hobbs was experiencing. And it goes back and forth with those dates between the two. Now, mind you, Alan Hobbs is dead from the beginning of the book. And I'll just say this. In the beginning of the book, it made it seem like he was murdered because they, you know, found his throat slashed and it was blood everywhere. But in our reality, he killed himself by taking all of these pills. He OD'd on pills, and like, I guess as he was slowly starting to transition out, whoever it was that came in to kill him just finished the job. And he had already orchestrated for someone to come and kill him. I just have questions. So if you all have read this book, it's called The Angel Maker by Alex North. Please feel free to put it in the comments because I need clarity. But yeah, outside of that, this is Felicia with The Book Is Done. I have some more books to review, but I think I'm just going to go to bed for right now because I'm still just kind of why did I type thing. But one book that I am going to get started reading is Riley Sager, The House Across the Lake. Listen, about last week, I want to say it was last week, maybe a week and a half ago, I read the first book of Riley Sager called The Only One Left. When I tell you that was one of the best books I have read all year, one of the best books, hands down. Like, it was so good. I have to write down like the characters and who is who and who did what, and so many plot twists in that book. So my hope, I am really, really, really hoping that The House Across the Lake is as good as that one. I know The Only One Left is the most recent one that he released, but The House Across the Lake, I believe, came out not too long before this one did. So if you've read The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, please feel free to give your input as well. But again, this is Felicia with The Book Is Done, and I'm out. Good night.